The old warship hung in space, its metal hull reflecting the distant sun. The name *GES Persistence* was painted on its side, though parts of the letters had faded. Next to the newer ships at the Earth space dock, it looked like a grandfather among children. Captain Han Su walked through the narrow halls of his ship. His boots made a steady sound on the metal floor. 40 years ago, this ship was the pride of Earth's fleet. Now, most people called it the Fossil. Han reached the bridge and nodded to the crew members already at their stations. Through the large front window, he could see Earth, blue and green against the black of space. This might be the last time they saw it. "Captain on the bridge," announced Park Ji, his second in command. She stood straight, her uniform neat despite being worn at the edges. "At ease," Han said. He sat in the captain's chair, feeling the familiar worn cushion. "Status report. All systems running as well as can be expected, sir," Kim Ta said from the tactical station. His fingers moved over control panels that used physical buttons instead of the touch screens found on newer vessels. "Weapons are online, though I doubt they'll impress anyone." Han nodded. The Persistence carried railguns and missile launchers, while the newest Earth ships used energy weapons and plasma torpedoes. Their engines used nuclear fission rather than the antimatter drives of modern vessels. Even their communications relied on radio backups alongside quantum entanglement systems. "Engineering reports the engines are as good as they'll get," added Li Du through the ship's intercom. "I've got my team performing final checks now." Han pressed a button on his chair. "Good work, Chief. We launch in 2 hours." The bridge fell silent as each crew member focused on their pre-launch tasks. Han brought up the mission details on his screen. 3 times, the Persistence had been scheduled for decommissioning. 3 times, budget cuts or delays had kept it in service. Now, when humanity needed to send ships to help their new allies in the Galactic Alliance, the old vessel was being pressed into service again. "Sir," Park Ji said quietly, coming to stand beside his chair. The crew was talking. "They think we're being sent as a gesture, not as actual help." Han looked up at his XO. Her eyes showed concern, but her face remained professional. "They're probably right," he admitted. "The Vorn Empire has been pushing into Alliance space for months. When the Alliance asked Earth for military support, they expected our newest ships. Instead, they get us. Along with 3 newer vessels," Park Ji reminded him. "True, but those ships will go to the front lines. Will likely be assigned to patrol safe sectors or escort duty." Han tapped his screen, bringing up the ship's schematics. "Still, there's something about this old design that keeps drawing my attention." A notification flashed on Han's screen. "Admiral Wong is calling from command." Han straightened his uniform and accepted the call. The stern face of Admiral Wong appeared on the small screen. "Captain Han," the Admiral said with a nod. "Your departure is still on schedule." "Yes, Admiral. 2 hours from now." "Good." The Admiral looked down at something off-screen. "I know the Persistence isn't what you or your crew expected to be taking into an interstellar conflict. We're honored to serve, regardless of our vessel," Han said automatically. Admiral Wong's expression softened slightly. "I've served with you for 15 years, Han. I know you prefer one of the new destroyers, but there's a reason I insisted you take the Persistence. Han raised an eyebrow. "Sir, the Alliance has existed for thousands of years. Earth has been invited to join because they need our help, but make no mistake, many of them look down on us as newcomers, as primitives." The Admiral leaned closer to the screen. "They expect us to fail, to prove we don't belong at their table. And sending an outdated ship helps how, exactly?" Han couldn't keep a hint of bitterness from his voice. "Because you'll surprise them. The Persistence may be old, but it's sturdy, and its age might be an advantage we don't yet understand." The Admiral's voice grew firm. "This isn't just about the Vorn, Captain. It's about humanity's place in the galaxy. After the call ended, Han sat quietly, thinking about the Admiral's words. Park Ji, who had moved away during the call, returned to his side. "Good news?" she asked. "Interesting news," Han replied. "Gather the senior staff. We need to talk before departure." An hour later, Han stood before his 4 senior officers in the ship's small briefing room. Besides Park Ji, there was Kim Ta, the tactical officer whose careful precision had saved them during past emergencies, Li Du, the chief engineer who knew every pipe and circuit on the ship, and Dr. Moon's son, the medical officer whose calm presence steadied the crew during crisis. "Our orders are to rendezvous with the Alliance fleet at Proxima Station," Han explained, pointing to a star map projected on the wall. "From there, we'll be assigned our duties, which will be to stay out of the way," Kim Ta said, frowning. "Perhaps," Han admitted, "but Admiral Wong believes there's more to this mission than it appears. The Alliance races have technologies far beyond ours. Some have been spacefaring for thousands of years. They see us as children, so they'll trust us with the safe, easy jobs," Dr. Moon said, nodding. "Exactly. But the Admiral thinks our perceived weakness might become a strength." Han touched the controls, zooming in on the map. "The Vorn have been winning battles they shouldn't win. Alliance ships with superior technology have been defeated or disabled. No one knows how." Li Du leaned forward, her eyes bright with interest. "You think our older systems might be immune to whatever the Vorn are using?" "It's possible. The persistence relies on physical controls and mechanical backups that most modern ships have abandoned." Han looked around at his officers. "If nothing else, we'll be underestimated, and that can be an advantage." The briefing continued as Han outlined what little they knew about the Vorn and the Alliance forces they would be joining. When it ended, the officers filed out, looking more purposeful than before. Only Park Ji remained behind. "You gave them hope," she said, "but is it false hope?" Han gathered his datapad and straightened a stack of physical paper maps, another relic most ships no longer carried. "I don't know," he admitted, "but I do know this ship and this crew have survived when they shouldn't have. 3 times they tried to scrap us. Maybe there's a reason we're still here." The persistence left Earth's orbit on schedule, its engines glowing blue against the darkness. In the observation lounge, off-duty crew members watched their home planet grow smaller. Among them was Ensign Ba Min, the youngest crew member at just 22 years old. "My friends all laughed when I got assigned to this ship," he said to no one in particular. "They called it a flying museum." Next to him, Chief Li Du chuckled. "They're not wrong, but museum told valuable things, Ensign." "I guess," Ba Min said, not sounding convinced. "I just wish I could be on something like the Swift Strike or the Horizon instead. Those ships are beautiful, no doubt." Li Du agreed. "All clean lines and new technology. But when a solar flare knocked out half the electronics on the Nimbus last year, they had to tow it back to Earth. When the same flare hit us, we switched to mechanical controls and kept going." The Ensign looked at her with new interest. "Really? This old ship has tricks the new ones never learned." Li Du patted the wall affectionately. "Sometimes simple is better." As the Earth became just a bright blue dot among the stars, Captain Han watched from the bridge. The ship's course was set for the Proxima system, a journey that would take them 2 weeks at their maximum speed. "All departments report ready for extended travel, Captain," Park Ji said from her station. "Good. Maintain course and speed." Han tapped a control, bringing up an image of their destination. Proxima Station orbited a red dwarf star, the meeting point where humanity would officially join the Galactic Alliance's fight against the Vorn. No one expected much from the persistence or its crew. Han smiled slightly. Being underestimated could be a powerful advantage. "Unknown path ahead," he murmured to himself, "but will persist." Around him, The old ship hummed steadily as it carried them toward the stars. After 2 weeks of travel through space, the *GES Persistence* arrived at Proxima Station. The massive space station hung in orbit around the red dwarf star, its many arms stretching out like a metal flower. Ships of all shapes and sizes moved around it, each one sleeker and more advanced than Han's vessel. "Look at that one," Kim Ta said, pointing at a ship that seemed to shimmer as it moved. No visible engines or weapons. The Alteri build their ships with integrated systems. "And that one," Park Ji added, gesturing to a vessel shaped like a perfect sphere. "Drillian design. They say it can change shape in battle." Captain Han watched as his crew marveled at the alien ships. He felt a mixture of pride and worry. Humanity was new to this part of space. These other races had traveled between stars for thousands of years. "Proxima Station Control to Earth vessel." A voice came through the communication system. "You are cleared to dock at Arm 7. Section 12. "Acknowledged control," Park Ji responded. "Proceeding to assign dock." Han noted that they had been assigned to one of the outer docking arms, far from the station's central hub where the newer Earth ships had been directed. "They're putting us in the back corner," Kim Ta muttered. "Less chance of us embarrassing Earth that way," Li Du said over the comm from engineering. "Focus on docking procedures," Han ordered, keeping his voice even. "Let's show them Earth ships can dock perfectly, no matter how old." The Persistence moved slowly toward the assigned dock. Park Ji guided the ship with careful precision, bringing it to a perfect stop at the docking port. The magnetic clamps engaged with a solid thunk that vibrated through the hull. "Docking complete," she announced with a small smile of satisfaction. "Well done," Han said. "Senior officers, prepare for the welcome briefing. We depart in 30 minutes. The welcome briefing was being held in the station's main conference hall. Han and his officers made their way through the station's wide corridors, passing aliens of various species. Some looked almost human, while others were wildly different. Beings with multiple limbs, unusual skin colors, or body shapes that defied Earth biology. When they entered the conference hall, Han immediately noticed the stairs. The other captains and their officers wore uniforms made of materials that seemed to flow like water or glow with soft light. In comparison, the Earth officers' simple blue uniforms looked dull and outdated. "The humans have arrived," announced a tall, blue-skinned alien with ridges on its forehead. "I am Admiral Kelvorn of the Andromeda Sector Forces." Han stepped forward and gave a formal bow. "Captain Han Su of the *GES Persistence*, representing Earth Defense Force." Admiral Kelvorn's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "Ah, yes, the older vessel we observed arriving. Your newer ships arrived yesterday." There was a hint of amusement in the Admiral's voice that made Han's back stiffen. "We are honored to serve alongside the Alliance forces," Han said simply. Of course. The Admiral gestured to the large oval table. "Please, join us. The briefing will begin shortly." Han and his officers took seats at the far end of the table. The newer Earth ship's captains sat closer to the Admiral, already engaged in conversation with other alien officers. "They're not even trying to hide their disdain," Park Ji whispered. "Let them think what they want," Han replied quietly. "We're here to do a job." The briefing began with Admiral Kelvorn displaying a 3-dimensional map of the sector. Red areas showed where Vorn forces had taken control. "The Vorn Empire has expanded aggressively in the past 12 months, the Admiral explained. "They've taken 7 key systems and pushed back our forces at every engagement." "What makes them so effective?" asked Captain Bren of the Drillian forces. "Their technology should not be superior to ours." "Unknown," admitted the Admiral. "But they appear to have developed new weapons or tactics. Ships that engage them often report systems failures before being overwhelmed." Han studied the map carefully. There was a pattern to the Vorn advances that bothered him, but he couldn't quite identify what it was. The newest Earth vessels, the Swift Strike *, Horizon *, and Stellar Defender will join the main Alliance fleet. Admiral Kelvorn continued. As for the... He paused, looking at Han's ship on the display. Persistence You will be assigned to the rear guard. Your primary mission will be to escort supply ships to and from the Proxima station. Han had expected this, but it still stung. Beside him, he felt Kim Ta tense up. With respect, Admiral, Han said calmly, my ship and crew are combat ready. We would be honored to serve on the front lines. A ripple of amusement passed through the alien officers. Admiral Kelvorn's mouth twisted in what might have been a smile. Captain Han, your enthusiasm is noted, but your vessel lacks the necessary speed and firepower for frontline operations. The escort duty is vital to our success. Han nodded, accepting the decision without further argument. After the briefing ended, the officers mingled, forming small groups. Han noticed that none of the alien officers approached his team. Even the other Earth captains kept their distance, perhaps not wanting to be associated with the outdated ship. Captain Han Su. A voice spoke from behind him. Han turned to see a slender alien with pale green skin and large dark eyes. Her uniform bore the insignia of the Science Division. Yes, he replied with a polite nod. I am Captain Zhen Yun of the Stellar Inquiry She studied him with open curiosity. Your vessel uses physical armor plating, does it not? It does, Han confirmed. 3 layers with vacuum cushioning between them. Fascinating, she said, and unlike the others, her interest seemed genuine. Most modern ships rely entirely on energy shields. Physical armor is considered inefficient. It's heavy, Han admitted, but it can't be disabled the way energy shields can. And your ship uses mechanical backup systems, she asked. For all critical functions, Han said, we can operate without computers if necessary. Captain Zhen Yun's eyes widened slightly. That is most unusual. Such systems were abandoned centuries ago by most Alliance races. Before Han could respond, another alien officer approached, his skin a metallic blue. Zhen Yun, are you collecting specimens for your museum? He asked with a laugh. This human vessel would make a fine addition to ancient technology exhibits. Captain Zhen Yun's expression remained neutral. Captain Han was just explaining their redundant control systems. Captain Drell, I find it quite ingenious. How quaint, Captain Drell said, not bothering to hide his condescension. Using physical controls and chemical propulsion backups. Next, they'll tell us they navigate by the stars. We can, actually, Kim Ta interjected, stepping forward. All Earth officers are trained in manual stellar navigation. Captain Drell looked genuinely surprised before laughing. Well, when your quantum computers fail, at least you won't be completely lost. More alien officers joined the conversation, each asking questions that thinly veiled their amusement at the primitive Earth vessel. Han and his officers answered politely, neither apologizing for their ship nor rising to the bait of the subtle insults. As they left the conference hall, Li Du shook her head in frustration. They think we're jokes. Let them, Han said firmly. They've forgotten something important. What's that, sir? Asked Dr. Moon. Sometimes old ways survive because they work, Han replied. And sometimes new isn't always better. The next 3 days were spent preparing for their escort mission. The Persistence would guard a convoy of 5 supply ships, traveling to the forward base at Centauri Prime. Captain Han used the time to study everything he could about the Vorn's tactics. He spent hours in the ship's small library room, going through reports of encounters and battles. Something about the attacks bothered him, a detail that others had missed. On the evening before their departure, Han called his senior officers to the briefing room. Look at these battle reports, he said, spreading physical papers across the table. What do you notice? The officers studied the reports in silence for a few minutes. The Vorn always attack the command ships first, Park Ji noted. And they seem to know which ones they are, even when they're disguised, added Kim Ta. Yes, But there's more, Han said. In every major battle, Alliance ships report system failures right before the Vorn attack. Not damage from weapons, complete system failures. Some kind of electronic warfare. Li Du suggested. Perhaps, Han said. But why are all ships affected equally? From the most advanced Alteri vessels to the newer Earth ships. Dr. Moon picked up one report. It says here the Dawnlight lost all digital systems simultaneously, but life support stayed on. How is that possible? That's what I've been wondering, Han said. What if the Vorn have found a way to target the most advanced systems specifically? What if complexity itself is a weakness? The officers looked at each other as the implication sank in. If that's true, Park Ji began. Then our old simple ship might be our greatest strength. Han finished. He looked around at his officers with a small smile. While the Alliance assigns us to the back lines, we'll be prepared. If something happens, the persistence might be more useful than anyone expects. As the meeting ended, the officers left with a new sense of purpose. They might be underestimated and dismissed, but Han felt a growing certainty that their moment would come. Through the viewport, he could see the sleek Alliance ships preparing for battle, their hulls gleaming with advanced technology. His own ship sat quietly among them, old but sturdy, simple but reliable. They'll learn, he said to himself. Sometimes, the oldest tools are the best ones for the job. The supply convoy moved slowly through space. 5 large cargo ships carried food, medicine, and equipment for the Alliance forces. The GES Persistence traveled alongside them, its sensors constantly scanning for threats. Captain Han sat in his command chair, watching the stars on the main screen. They had been traveling for 3 days without incident. The journey to Centauri Prime would take another 2 days at their current speed. Status report, Han asked. All systems normal, Captain, Park Ji replied from her station. The convoy is maintaining formation. No signs of foreign activity in this sector. Han nodded, but he couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. The Vorn had been aggressive for months, yet this supply route remained untouched. It was too easy. Kim Tae, run a passive scan of the nearby systems, Han ordered. Look for anything unusual. The tactical officer worked at his console. Nothing on standard scans, sir. But... He paused, adjusting some controls. There's a strange energy reading from the Solaris Nebula. It's very faint. Put it on screen. The main display showed the colorful gases of the nebula that lay off their starboard side. A small section glowed slightly brighter than the rest. Could be natural, Park Ji suggested. Could be, Han agreed. But let's change course slightly. Move us half a light minute closer to the nebula. Sir, our orders are to stay with the convoy, Park Ji reminded him. Just a small detour, Han said. Tell the convoy we're checking a sensor anomaly. The Persistence adjusted its course, moving slightly away from the convoy. As they drew closer to the nebula, Kim Tae's console began to beep urgently. Captain, I'm detecting multiple ships inside the nebula. They were masked by the energy patterns. Vorn ships? Han asked, leaning forward. Configuration matches Vorn attack vessels. 7. No, 8 ships. Kim Ta looked up with wide eyes. They're positioning for an ambush. Han didn't hesitate. Red alert. Contact the convoy. Tell them to change course immediately. Kim Ta, ready weapons. Li Du, prepare for emergency maneuvers. The bridge erupted into activity. Warning lights flashed red as the crew rushed to battle stations. Convoy acknowledges, Park Ji reported. They're changing course, but they're slow to respond. The Vorn ships are moving, Kim Tae announced. They've noticed our course change. They're breaking from the nebula. Han gripped the arms of his chair. Send an emergency message to Proxima Station. Tell them the convoy is under attack. The first Vorn ship emerged from the nebula, sleek and dangerous. It was twice the size of the Persistence with weapon ports glowing along its hull. 7 more followed, their engines burning bright as they accelerated toward the convoy. "They're ignoring us," Park Ji said with surprise. "They're heading straight for the cargo ships." "Because they think we're no threat," Han replied. "Let's use that. Move to intercept the lead Vorn vessel." The Persistence surged forward, its old engines pushing to maximum power. On the screen, Han could see the Vorn fleet spreading out to surround the convoy, which was now trying to flee. "All hands, prepare for combat," Han announced ship-wide. "This is not a drill." The first Vorn ship fired at one of the cargo vessels. A brilliant beam of energy struck the ship shields, making them flare bright blue. "They're within range of our weapons," Kim Tae reported. "Target the lead ship's engines and fire," Han ordered. The Persistence's railguns fired, launching solid metal projectiles at incredible speed. The shots hit the Vorn ship's rear section, causing small explosions where they struck. "Direct hits," Kim Tae announced, "but minimal damage. Their armor is strong." "Keep firing," Han ordered. "Aim for the same spot." "Park Ji, bring us closer." The Persistence closed the distance to the Vorn vessels. More railgun shots struck the lid ship, hammering at the same location until the alien armor began to crack. Suddenly, the space around them lit up with energy. A wave of something invisible passed through the battle area. Han felt the hair on his arms stand up. "What was that?" he demanded. Before anyone could answer, the convoy ships began to drift off course. Their engines shut down, and their lights flickered. "The convoy systems are failing," Park Ji reported, her voice tight with concern. "They're defenseless." Han watched as the Vorn ships closed in on the helpless convoy. But something else caught his attention. His own ship systems were still functioning. "Status report. All stations," he called out. "All systems operational, Captain," came the replies from around the bridge. "Sir," Kim Tae said, checking his readings. "The Alliance cargo ships are completely disabled. No engines, no shields, no weapons, but we're unaffected." Han's mind raced. This was it, the mystery weapon the Vorn had been using. Some kind of energy pulse that disabled advanced systems. "It's the Cascade Disruptor," a voice said from the doorway. Captain Jen Yun stood there, her green skin pale. She had joined their ship at the last minute, requesting passage to Centauri Prime for her research. "What?" Han asked, turning to her. "A theoretical weapon," she explained quickly. "It creates a cascade effect in quantum computing systems, shutting them down. Your ship uses older technology that isn't affected." Han made his decision instantly. "Kim Tae, target the Vorn ship's weapon systems. Fire everything we have." The Persistence moved forward, its railguns firing rapidly. Missiles launched from tubes along the hull, streaking toward the Vorn vessels. The alien ships, focused on the disabled convoy, were slow to react to the attack. "They didn't expect us to be operational," Park Ji observed. "Their mistake," Han replied grimly. The first Vorn ship took heavy damage as multiple railgun shots tore through its hull. A missile struck its weapons array, causing a series of explosions along its side. "One down," Kim Tae reported, targeting the next. The remaining Vorn ships turned toward the Persistence finally recognizing it as a threat. Energy beams lanced out, striking the Earth vessel's hull. "Damage to decks 3 and 4, reported Park Ji. "Armor holding." Han felt the ship shake as more shots hit them. The Vorn weapons were powerful, but the Persistence's layered armor absorbed much of the impact. "Engineering to bridge." Li Du's voice came through the comm. "The main computer network is failing. That pulse is affecting some of our systems too." "Switch to mechanical backups," Han ordered. "All stations, manual control." Throughout the ship, crew members pulled levers and turned physical switches, activating the backup systems that most modern vessels had abandoned. Analog gauges replaced digital displays as the Persistence shifted to its most basic operating mode. Weapon targeting computers offline, Kim Tae reported, switching to manual targeting. Han watched as his tactical officer began using the old-fashioned optical sights and manual calculations to aim the weapons. It was slower, less precise, but it worked. The Persistence continued to fire at the Vorn ships. Without their advanced targeting systems, many shots missed, but enough found their targets to cause damage. Captain, Park Ji called out. We're receiving a transmission from Proxima Station. Alliance vessels are on their way. Tell them to be careful, Han replied. The Vorn weapon affects all advanced systems. A Vorn ship moved directly in front of the Persistence its weapons firing continuously. The Earth vessel shuddered under the assault. Armor breach on Deck 5, reported Kim Tae. Emergency bulkheads activated. Evasive maneuvers, Han ordered. Pattern Delta. The Persistence rolled to the side, its maneuvering thrusters firing in sequence. Without the ship's computers, Park Ji controlled the movement manually, using practiced skill rather than automated precision. Sir, Kim Tae called out, I spotted something on the Lid Vorn vessel. There's a large emitter on its underside. I think that's the source of the disruptor pulse. Han leaned forward. Can you target it? With manual sighting? Maybe. It would be a difficult shot. Do it, Han ordered. Everyone else, brace for impact. We're going in close. The Persistence turned directly toward the largest Vorn ship. Han could see its weapons charging for another volley. Fire all forward railguns when ready, he said calmly. Continuous fire. Don't stop until that emitter is destroyed. The ship's railguns began firing, metal slugs launching at tremendous speed. Most missed the small target, but a few struck near the emitter, causing damage to the surrounding hull. We need to get closer, Kim Tae said, hands moving rapidly over the manual controls. Full thrust, Han ordered. The Persistence surged forward, closing the distance to the Vorn vessel. Energy beams lashed out, striking the Earth ship repeatedly. Warning alarms sounded throughout the bridge as damage reports came in from all sections. Hull breach on Deck 6, Park Ji reported. Casualties reported in engineering. Han gripped his chair tightly. Stay on course. At point-blank range, the railguns fired again. This time, the shots couldn't miss. The emitter on the Vorn ship exploded in a burst of blue energy, followed by secondary explosions that rippled across the alien vessel's hull. Direct hit, Kim Tae shouted. The emitter is destroyed. Around them, the disabled convoy ships began to show signs of life. Lights flickered back on as their systems rebooted. The convoy is coming back online, Park Ji reported with relief. Han allowed himself a small smile. Send a message to all ships. Tell them to target that same spot on the other Vorn vessels, the emitter on the underside. As the convoy ships regained power, they joined the battle. The Vorn, suddenly facing an enemy that could fight back, began to retreat. They're running, Kim Tae said, unable to keep the satisfaction from his voice. Han nodded, watching the Vorn ships accelerate away from the battle. Let them go. They'll carry the message back to their fleet. What message is that, sir? Asked Park Ji. Han turned to her, his expression serious. That not all of humanity's ships can be disabled by their weapon. That sometimes old technology beats new. Captain Jen Yun stepped forward, her eyes wide with understanding. The Alliance forces are vulnerable because they've become too dependent on advanced systems. But your ship, she gestured around the bridge, your ship is immune because it's simpler. Not immune, Han corrected, looking at the damage reports, but resistant. And sometimes that's enough to win. As the Persistence moved to check on the convoy, Han knew this battle had changed everything. The useless old ship had just become the most valuable vessel in the Alliance fleet. The return to Proxima Station was very different from their first arrival. This time, when the *GES Persistence* approached the docking bay, other ships flashed their lights in salute. The battered Earth vessel, with visible damage to its hull, moved slowly but proudly to its assigned dock. "Look at that welcome," Park Ji said as she guided the ship in. "Quite a change from last time." Captain Han nodded, watching as the docking clamps secured the ship. News of their battle with the Vorn had spread quickly through the Alliance fleet. The useless old warship had become famous overnight. "All hands, prepare for docking procedures," Han announced over the ship-wide comm. "Repair teams stand by. We have 12 hours to get the Persistence battle ready again." As soon as they docked, Han received an urgent message from Admiral Kelvorn, requesting his presence at an emergency council meeting. He left the ship with Captain Jen Yun and his senior officers. The main conference room was packed with alien commanders when they arrived. This time, instead of being directed to the back, Han and his team were shown to seats near the head of the table. Admiral Kelvorn stood as they entered. "Captain Han Su," the Admiral said, his voice carrying through the room. "Your actions have saved the supply convoy and given us crucial information about the enemy's weapons." Han bowed slightly. "My crew deserves the credit, Admiral. They performed with excellence." Indeed. The Admiral gestured to the central display, which showed images of the damaged foreign ship. "Captain Jen Yun has analyzed the data from your encounter. Please, Captain, share your findings." Captain Jen Yun stepped forward, her green skin glowing slightly under the lights. "The Vorn weapon is what we suspected, a cascade disruptor. It creates a quantum interference pattern that disrupts advanced computer systems and energy-based technologies." She pointed to images of the device Han's ship had destroyed. "The weapon affects all quantum-based systems, which includes nearly every modern ship in the Alliance fleet. That is why our forces have been so vulnerable." "And yet," Admiral Kelvorn said, turning to Han, "your vessel remained operational." Han stood to address the gathered commanders. The Persistence was built with multiple redundant systems. When our main computers failed, we switched to mechanical backups. Our weapons use physical projectiles rather than energy beams. Our engines have chemical thruster backups. A murmur went through the assembled officers. "Such systems were abandoned centuries ago," said a tall, silver-skinned commander. "Sometimes old ways are the best ways," Han replied simply. Admiral Kelvorn nodded. "The Alliance has become overly dependent on advanced technology. This is a weakness the Vorn have exploited." He looked at the tactical display, where red markers showed the Vorn fleet gathering for a major assault. "The Vorn command ship has been located. It is directing their forces from the Rigel system. We believe it is the source of their disruptor technology." The Admiral's 4 eyes focused on Han. "Captain, I am reassigning the Persistence to the forward fleet. We need your ship's unique capabilities." Han felt a surge of pride, but kept his expression calm. "We are ready to serve, Admiral." "Good, because I have a special mission for you." The Admiral lowered his voice. "A mission that only your ship might be able to complete." 2 days later, the Persistence drifted through space, its engines cold, its systems running on minimal power. Behind it, hidden in the shadow of a large asteroid, waited 3 Alliance vessels. Han sat in the darkened ridge, watching the massive Vorn command ship on the main screen. The alien vessel was the size of a small city, bristling with weapons and surrounded by a protective fleet of smaller ships. "Are we in position?" Han asked quietly. "Yes, Captain," Park Ji replied. "We're appearing as a damaged ship on their sensors, drifting on the edge of their detection range." Han nodded. The plan was simple but dangerous. The Persistence would act as a distraction, drawing attention while appearing harmless. Meanwhile, Earth Marines would use the ship's shuttle to board the Vorn command vessel and disable its main disruptor array. Shuttle bay reports ready, Kim Ta said from Tactical. Marine team is boarding now. Han left his chair and walked to the shuttle bay. 20 Earth Marines in combat armor waited beside a small shuttle. Unlike the powered armor used by Alliance forces, the Earth Marines wore physical protection with minimal electronic systems. Lieutenant Choi, Han greeted the Marine commander. Are your people ready? The lieutenant, a compact woman with intense eyes, nodded. Yes, sir. Physical weapons only, as ordered. Assault rifles, combat knives, and old-style grenades. Good. The persistence will create a distraction when you're in position. Get in, disable the disruptor array, and get out. Han looked at each Marine in turn. The Alliance is counting on us. Humanity is counting on us. We won't let you down, sir, Lieutenant Choi replied. Han returned to the bridge as the shuttle launched, using the asteroid belt for cover as it approached the Vorn command ship. Shuttle away, Park Ji reported. ETA to Vorn vessel, 15 minutes. Begin Phase 1, Han ordered. Power up engines at minimal levels. Make it look like we're trying to repair them. The persistence began to move slowly, as if struggling to maintain power. On the sensors, Han could see 2 Vorn patrol ships change course to investigate. They've spotted us, Kim Ta said. 2 vessels approaching. Good, Han replied. Let them come closer. Li Du, prepare for emergency power. The first Vorn patrol ship reached them, moving cautiously around the seemingly damaged Earth vessel. A scan beam passed over the persistence. They're scanning us, Park Ji reported. Should I respond? No, Han said. Let them think our communications are down. The Vorn ships circled the persistence like predators. Han watched them carefully, waiting for the right moment. Shuttle reports they're in position. Kim Tai announced quietly. Boarding operation beginning. Han nodded. Now, Li Du. Full power to all systems. The persistence came to life, its engines flaring bright blue as power surged through the ship. The Vorn vessels, caught by surprise, tried to back away. Target the nearest patrol ship, Han ordered. Fire railguns and missiles. The persistence's weapons opened fire. Solid metal projectiles tore into the first Vorn ship, followed by missiles that exploded against its hull. The second patrol ship returned fire, energy beams striking the Earth vessel's armor. Damage to port side, Park Ji reported. Armor holding. Signal the Alliance ships, Han ordered. Tell them to begin their attack. From behind the asteroid, 3 Alliance vessels emerge, weapons firing. The space around the Vorn command ship erupted in battle as more Alliance forces appeared from hiding places throughout the system. The Vorn are activating their disruptor, Kim Ta warned. A wave of energy spread from the command ship. Alliance vessels began to drift as their systems failed, but the persistence continued fighting, switching to its backup systems as the wave passed over it. Manual controls active, Park Ji announced. We're still in the fight. Han looked at the tactical display. The Vorn hadn't expected resistance after using their weapon. They certainly hadn't expected the persistence to keep fighting. Marine team reports they've reached the main disruptor control room, Kim Ta said. They're engaging Vorn defenders. Han nodded grimly. Move us closer to the command ship. Draw their fire away from the boarding point. The persistence accelerated toward the massive Vorn vessel, firing continuously. Vorn ships moved to intercept, their weapons causing more damage to the Earth ship's already battered hull. Hull breach on Deck 4, Park Ji reported. Emergency teams responding. Keep firing, Han ordered. Target their weapon ports. The bridge shook as the ship took more hits. Warning lights flashed across the control panels as damage reports came in from all sections. Sir, Kim Ta suddenly called out. The Marine team reports success. They've placed explosives on the main disruptor controls. Han felt a surge of hope. Tell them to detonate and get out of there. Seconds later, a massive explosion tore through the side of the Vorn command ship. The disruptor wave disappeared instantly. Alliance ships report their systems are coming back online, Park Ji said, excitement in her voice. Throughout the battlefield, the previously disabled Alliance vessels began to power up. Their weapons came online, targeting the surprised Vorn ships. Marine shuttle is launching, Kim Tae reported. They made it. The small Earth shuttle burst from the damaged section of the Vorn command ship, racing back toward the Persistence *. Behind it, the Alliance fleet pressed its advantage, surrounding the Vorn forces that had suddenly lost their greatest weapon. Open shuttle bay doors, Han ordered, and inform Admiral Kel Vorn that the mission was successful. As the Marine shuttle docked safely, Han watched the battle turn decisively in favor of the Alliance. The Vorn command ship, its defenses crippled by the internal explosion, was surrounded by Alliance vessels. Captain, Park Ji said, we're receiving a transmission from the Vorn command ship. They're surrendering. A cheer went up from the bridge crew. Han allowed himself a small smile of satisfaction. The Vorn commander requests to speak with the captain who led this attack, Park Ji added. Han straightened his uniform, which was dusty and torn from the battle. Put them through. The screen showed a tall, pale Vorn commander with ridged skin and 4 small eyes. You are the captain of the Earth vessel. The alien asked in a translated voice. I am Captain Han Su of the GES Persistence *. Han replied formally. The Vorn commander studied him. Your ship, it is unlike the others. Older, simpler. Yes, Han agreed. Sometimes simple is better. We did not expect. The Vorn commander paused. We thought all Alliance races had abandoned such technologies. We were unprepared for your primitive approach. Han nodded, understanding the irony. The oldest lessons in warfare are often the most important. Never underestimate your enemy or your allies. After the transmission ended, Han looked around at his tired but proud crew. The Persistence *, once considered obsolete and useless, had led the Alliance to victory. Send a message to Earth, Han told Park Ji. Tell them the Persistence * has lived up to its name. As the Alliance fleet secured the surrender of the remaining Vorn forces, Han thought about the journey that had brought them here. From being dismissed as outdated and useless to becoming the key to victory. Sometimes, he reflected, the oldest tools were the best ones for the job. And sometimes, being underestimated was the greatest advantage of all.